Hi guys, welcome to Pretty Tattered. This is Belinda and I'm excited today because I have 3 makeover projects and I'm going to share with you using a very simple thing like tracing paper, and it's as good as IOD. Now let's go make 3 tattered items pretty. I got this frame at an estate sale for like $1 and it has a design on it, but you can get one that's flat. Any frame will work. I know you guys are probably tired of seeing things painted with chalk paint, but I'm going to use Walmart's Waverly Chalk Paint Color Ivory to paint this frame, so stick in there with me. 2 brushes that I'm going to use a large stencil brush and just a cheap foam brush. I like to have at least both on hand because the big stencil brush really gets in there and covers a large area and can usually get down in the crevices pretty good. When it can't, I use a foam brush to squish it down in there. Here I'm just applying the first coat and trying to cover it as much as I possibly can. Even though chalk paint dries pretty quickly, a blow dryer can speed up that process. Now for the fun part. Now we're going to take just regular tracing paper. You can get it anywhere. You can get it at Walmart, you get it at craft stores, online, on Amazon. So using my inkjet printer, I printed out a design that I had made of flowers. I'm printing it on my jet printer because I want color. You can't print color on laser. I'm going to cut them out individually because I made like 6 of them on this one sheet of tracing paper. Here I am cutting them into 6 separate pieces. Printing several on one sheet of paper helps save your tracing paper that you can use for future projects. Here I am laying them on the frame to kind of get an idea of how I want this to look. After I get an idea of how I want it, then I'm going to trim back some more of the excess of tracing paper. I'm not going to trim it down exactly to the design, but I do want to get off as much tracing paper as I can. Once I have the excess of pieces cut off, then I'm going to lay the pattern face down. That means the side that has the pattern on it will go face down onto the frame. The reason I do that is when you add the Mod Podge, if you do it on the side with the print, it will smear the print. Okay, now I'm squirting some of the Mod Podge on a lid of an old butter container. I try to save all my old containers, like butter containers, to save me money from having to buy new containers for these projects. Here I'm using a cheap sponge brush and I am painting the design on the side of the tracing paper. When doing this, make sure that you coat the paper well with the Mod Podge. Once the Mod Podge is applied, I lay the paper face down on the frame and smooth it out. If there are any edges that are sticking up, I will add a little bit of Mod Podge to help secure them. Be careful when smoothing the paper because you can tear it. After all, tracing paper is a kind of paper and all paper can tear. And again, I am using a blow dryer to help speed up the drying process. Now this part, don't do what I did, which is left all the little pieces on the table when I used a blow dryer, which caused them to blow off of the table. Now I'm going to trim the rest of the pieces and I'm going to apply them with Mod Podge the very same way that I did the first one. Only this time I decided to put the Mod Podge directly on the frame first instead of putting it on the paper because the tracing paper design did smudge just a little bit on the other one. So I thought if I tried to put it directly on the frame first and then apply the design, maybe it would not smudge so. And it did work. It did not smudge like the first one. So the rest of them I put on the same way. I put the Mod Podge on first, applied the tracing paper, and then put Mod Podge over the top of the tracing paper. And also I use an X-Acto knife and I just kind of shoved that paper down those little crevices. I wanted to make sure that it looked good and smooth. Oh yeah, and I was still putting the pattern face down. And again, I used a blow dryer to help speed up the drying, and I did this on all the rest of it. As far as rest of the frame goes, I just cut out little pieces of the flowers. I just kind of arranged them around the frame to how I thought they looked the best. And that was the fun part about this. You can do that. You can just cut it out, you can arrange it, you can make it your own. It'll be a unique frame, one of a kind. I just think it turned out so adorable. Let me know in the comments What do you think? How do you think this turned out? Are you going to do this? Because this was fun. And by the way, I also have a shorts video on how to do this very same design with these very same flowers on the legs of a table. It turned out cute. You can do these with all kinds of things, guys. I just hope this will get your imagination wheels to start turning. Okay, for my second project, I bought this Breadbox at a yard sale for, I don't know, like $2.50, I believe. I spray painted it white and then I just dressed it, but I didn't want to bore you with the details of the spray painting. I'm just a really nice person like that. For this project, I'll also be using tracing paper. Okay, so I took a sheet of tracing paper and I fed it to my printer. And since jet printers are, well, really slow, I decided to speed this video up just a little bit for you. And I'm going to play some really nice music while you're waiting. There I go, being nice again. Okay, so it didn't really take that long. Anyway, I printed up these really cool flowers and I wanted to put them on the front of the box. I just had to kind of play around with them a little bit to decide exactly where I wanted them. Once I had the flower positioned where I wanted it, I pressed down on the paper around the door and took scissors and cut along that line. Then I trimmed off the excess of tracing paper around the flower. Then using a cheap sponge paintbrush, I brushed on Mod Podge where I was going to put the flower. I then placed the flower face down with the design in the Mod Podge. Then I took my hands and I slowly smoothed it out. The nice thing about tracing paper is that it's a little bit thicker than some other papers and it's easier to work with. It doesn't tear as easily as, say, napkins do. I came back with a little extra Mod Podge to help seal the edges down. Since it is a little bit thicker of a paper, you do have to work with the edges a lot more than you would napkins or maybe tissue paper. You can see where I lifted the paper that the ink is already transferring over onto the box. Here what I'm using is like a credit card, only it's metal. Actually, it's an Uber card. I really don't recommend using anything made out of metal because it is a little bit harsher than plastic. So you might want to use a plastic credit card. Once I have the flower all smoothed down, then I take some extra Mod Podge and I cover the whole thing with it. For the other side of the bread box door, I print the flower out just a little bit bigger. I just thought it would look really cute to have it big on one side and smaller on the other side. I did the very same stages on this side that I did on the other. Now that I had all of the front done, it was time to work on the top of it. And I decided I was going to do it different than I did the front. So instead of using tracing paper, I'm going to print it out on my laser printer and then I'm going to use a Mod Podge to let it sit and then wipe it off so it just leaves the print on the box. I know that a lot of people have gone on to using IOD products, but I think they're kind of expensive, and for me, I do resale and I need to sell cheap so my merchandise actually sells. I like still doing it the old-fashioned way. I like using the laser printer. I like the outcome. So, not that there's anything wrong with the IOD stuff. I guess you can just say I'm cheap. So what I've done is I've printed this off on my laser printer. It's just a design that I've made myself. I thought it would be cute to make the bread box into a snack box. So I went off of the sunflower design and decided to call it Sunflower Company Bread, Snacks, and Candy. And on the bottom of it I put quality products since 1894. I know, it's so cute. Once I have it all covered with Mod Podge, I will flip it over, line it up, and then I will smooth it down. It would probably sit in about an hour, but I'm going to leave it overnight, and then I will come back and remove the paper. Now that I've let it sit overnight, I'm taking a damp cloth and I'm going to rub it just enough to remove the paper. The Mod Podge will be left behind with the ink in it. Now I'm going to rub this probably a little harder than I normally would because I want it to have a distressed look, not a bright, bold look. Now if you don't have a laser printer and you only have an inkjet printer, this would work really good because the inkjet print is harder to stay on than the laser printer, so it would automatically have a distressed look. Okay, all this project needs is to be sprayed with a clear finish or sealer and it is done. Let me know what you think about it in the comments. Have you ever done anything like this? Are you going to do anything like this? I think it turned out so cute and so sweet that it actually makes me crave sweets. Here's the finished project. Okay, I got this Rooster at a thrift store for like $3.25. It's a weird amount. Do you guys know why they end them with like 67 cents or 87? Anyway, if you guys know, let me know. Drop it in the comments. So I'm going to show you guys my special mixture that I use to turn this ceramic Rooster into what looks like a statue made of concrete. Okay, I know you've seen this done before, but not the way that I do it. So first I take my paint, which is chalk paint, and then I think this is also ivory color, and I mix some cornstarch in it. I know, it's been done, you've seen it a zillion times, but that's just my first coat. So I cover the whole thing in this color, in this mixture. But then, after that, things start to get interesting. Very interesting. At this point I got to thinking that I needed to get the bottom painted, because if I continued to paint all the top of it, then I wouldn't be able to get to painting the bottom of it until the rest of it had dried. That way I could stand it up to paint the rest of it and not have to worry about doing that later. That was pretty dramatic, wasn't it? Stick around because there's more drama where that came from. Okay, once that side was done, I flipped it over and did the other side exactly the same way. Now here I'm actually showing you how I added cornstarch. I keep some of my cornstarch inside of a old chili powder container because it's just easier to get to it than having to deal with a big box, because every time I tried to use it, I got it everywhere. This just makes it easier for me and less of a mess to clean up. After I got all of this side painted, I took a blow dryer and blow dried it just like I did the other side. And next is my magic potion. Okay, for the next layer of paint, we are going to use still a chalk paint. It's still Waverly, but it's Elephant, which is a dark gray. You can add it in with the white that you already have if you have some left over. It's not going to hurt because this is a really dark gray. We are still going to add some of the cornstarch to this, but there is also a magic ingredient, and that magic ingredient is no other than kosher salt. That's right. You've heard of salt paint, right? Well, this is really nothing like it, but it does have salt in it, and the granulars is what makes that more of a concrete statue look. Really, it works. Okay, don't just take my word for it. Keep watching. I'll prove it. Now, for how much kosher salt you add to your paint depends on the texture that you want. And the more you do this, you will learn how much you need to add and how much you don't. I just kind of throw it in there. When it looks good, it's good. Here I'm adding a little bit more cornstarch to help thicken up the paint. The salt helps do the granular and gives it that concrete look, but it also needs that kind of thick plastery look, and that's what cornstarch does. Now it's time to take the kosher salt paint mixture and apply it to the Rooster, or what I like to call it for short, Belinda's Magic Potion with kosher salt, cornstarch, and paint. Okay, well maybe that's not so short. Maybe I can abbreviate it and call it BMPKSCSP. We'll just call it my Magic Potion. Now when applying this, you'll want to put it all over it, but not all over it, if that makes sense. So I like to start out just kind of splotching it, and I like to use a bristle brush, and I like to use a stencil bristle brush. A stencil bristle brush. That's a lot to say. Stencil bristle brush. Now, okay, anyway, I will start out just kind of splotching it, and then I'll add a little bit more just to get that look. You just need that look, and as you do it, you're gonna see it. No, believe me, take it from me, as you do it, you're gonna see it. After I blow dried it, I flipped it over and did the other side. Now that I have this side all covered the way I want to, I will dry it with the blow dryer. Here I am mixing some of the ivory chalk paint with the paint that I've already got mixed up, the elephant gray paint. Then I'm going to add some more of the kosher salt into it. Then I'm going to add some more cornstarch. Then I'm going to mix all that together. Then I'm going to paint that on, covering most of the Rooster. Here's where he starts to really take shape, really starts to look like that concrete statue. And I do this to both sides using a blow dryer to dry it. Oh, I almost forgot to tell you that I added this adhesive spray. After I get all the painting done, then I spray it with this and let it dry. Keeps the salt intact so it doesn't crumble. Next, I will put a clear finish over it. I prefer this one to brush it on because it's a hard, clear finish, but you can also use the spray. Just be sure you put a clear finish over it. Now that he's all finished, tell me what you think about my Magic Potion. Sadly, we've come to the end of the video, but as sad as I know you are about that, remember, there will be more like this one to come, because I like making videos as much as I like makeovers, and that's a lot. And if you like this video, then do a thumbs up, share it with your family and friends, and oh yeah, subscribe. And if you don't, I'm gonna send the crazy chicken after you. Bye for now. Thanks for watching.